Well, it's probably time I tell you the story on this Bobcat. It's not a good one. Not happy about it. I'll try and put together some video when it arrived and what.
Here's arrival day.
Took a while.
The big thing you'll see is that we drive it off the trailer and drive it past you
Yeah.
and down the driveway to the garage where it starts to buck a little bit, so I shut it off. It was out of fuel, or virtually out of fuel. So I went and got some fuel for it, loaded it with fuel, and started it up, and it started to throw errors. Found a bunch of oil in the pan, tried to figure out where it came from. Engine oil was a little low, and then it just, the errors, there were about 5 or 6 of them, and it started shutting it down. Well, not being, I took the codes into Bobcat, and they looked at it, and not being able to, really definitively tell me what was going on, we elected to have it towed in. So this stretch of video here is just the receiving of it, and it is, as it says, end of July 2023. And we'll get back to the story, which is the first part of February, end of January 2024. So that's how long we've been working on this.
You said it was the last time, and you lied for the last time, 'cause I'm gone for real this time. 'Cause I am better than you, crazy, than how you treated me. You even see me, no disrespect, but I wouldn't leave me. Now better, I'm so much better. I'm moving on to better. One day you will realize I'm on a deal. I tried everything, but you slipped. I don't need to make the stories in my head of Cinderella and the princess. So what you gonna do when I'm not there? Are you gonna live with my head? Really care about you, that's so sad. That's on you, that's your bad. You said it was the last time. You lied for the last time, 'cause I'm gone for real this time. 'Cause I am better than you, crazy, than how you treat me. You even see me, no disrespect, but I wouldn't leave me. I'm so much better. I'm moving on to better. One day you will realize that I don't play. You only go when it's showing, and none of these nights mean anything, 'cause none of these fights are worth it to me. I know that I'm tough, but I don't care. I can be needy, that's fair. You can handle that on me, 'cause you're my celebrity. You said it was the last time. You lied for the last time, 'cause I'm gone for real this time. 'Cause I am better than you, crazy, than how you treat me. You even see me, no disrespect, but leave me.
Not, but basically I bought this T630 earlier in 2023. Had it shipped in about 3.5 hours away. I did go look at it. I drove it around. Small repair center that buys and resells equipment, assumingly after they've fixed some of the things. It was advertised as being in good working order, but of course the contract says that I'm buying it where is as is. I got it back here off the truck, ran good, drove it up, parked it by the garage, went and got some fuel for it, and filled it. And then when I tried to start it, it started throwing a whole variety of error codes. Couldn't quite figure out what was going on. I wrote them down. I talked to the Bobcat dealer. You know, one was a fuel gauge. Okay, I knew that. You know, one was this. Okay, I knew that. But the big concern was it couldn't build any hydraulic oil pressure. Not engine oil pressure, hydraulic oil pressure. And so I had it towed, had a wrecker company come out and pull it and bring it to Bobcat, where it sat. Well, I waited, I don't know, 8 weeks to get it into Bobcat because they were backed up that far. And then I waited 12 more weeks till they got it in the shop. So, you know, it was 20 weeks long of sitting there. And they came back and said, it's in rough shape. And that's disappointing. I had planned for some $5,000 in repairs to be done to it. If they're going to do the work, it's much, much closer to $15,000. It needs a turbo. It needs everything downstream from the turbo because it's leaking oil. It's got a slight leak in the high pressure pump, but the hoses are rotting and weeping out oil. And then the last code, that didn't happen when it was here, but it happened in their shop when they tried to move it, is it threw an ECM error. And in their tracking, ECM errors are normally wiring harness problems, and so they looked at the wiring harness and it's been repaired at least 6 times, maybe more. And their opinion was it's time for a new wiring harness. All of that to say, I'm not going to pay to have it fixed. And so I'm going to take my hit on it now. We're going to try and, structurally it's really in good shape, but we're going to try and sell it for what we can get for it. I expect to take a $15,000+ loss on it. And it is what it is. I don't have the facilities. There's my shop, right there. If I was capable of fixing this, I don't have a place to do it. And so I had it dropped off here, and I had it dropped off here because right off the second driveway, and the tow truck was able to back up, and we just slid it off the back of the tilt bed. And when I sell it, the tow truck will come back in, pick it up, winch it on, and take it away. That's the plan, though. And the disappointing thing is, obviously the $15,000 in loss, that's going to delay purchasing something. Just to be fair and open, I paid $33,000 for it. I'm hoping I can sell it for $15,000, hopefully. We'll see what happens. And so I got to figure out, I need a skid steer here to do dirt work, to drill holes. A friend of mine who does plowing and stuff said he's got one I can rent for the summer because they only use it in the winter during plowing. That'll hold me over this year, but the goal is to really get to the point where I can pull the trigger on something either very good used or actually new from a dealer. I'm not going private party again. I got burned hard enough. I've never been burned on a private party sale, and I've done a lot of them. I got completely burned on this. He doesn't respond to email. He doesn't respond to text. He's just off the grid. And unless I want to get the truck and drive 3.5 hours over there and do what? What? Punch him? Then I'm going to jail. So I could sue him. Thought about that. And let's say I even prevail and I get my $33,000 back. I'll probably spend $15,000 in lawyers. So I'm still out $15,000. So I'm going to lick my wounds. We're going to get this thing sold for whatever I can get for it. And we're going to move on, because that's all the options that you have when this kind of thing happens. It's upsetting and it's frustrating, but to fight this battle any longer just consumes you, and it is much better to let it go, take your loss, recover from it, and keep working. So that's my little story. It's a hard one to admit that we got snookered, but we did. And so we're just going to proceed with with our projects. We're working on. Well, I just got the chains on the tractors. You'll see that. But I just did some laser shots where the new storage buildings are going to go, so I'm going to start to kind of map that project out for the spring. It's a very mild winter here, so I'm going to get back up here and cut some trees down that have to be moved, both for the shop building and for the cold storage building. It's a good time to do it. It's not terribly cold. I'm sitting out here right now. It's about 20-25 degrees. Very, very mild winter. The El Nino, the extreme El Nino, it's quite high, in the Pacific, is doing what El Ninos do in Minnesota. It's making for a very, very mild winter. I'll take it. Last winter was horrific, with as much snow, and then it rained in the snow, and we had ice, and it was just a hard winter to manage because there was so much snow. So I'll take a light one. That's okay. We have enough snow on the ground. The ground is actually frozen. Last year the snow came so early, the ground actually never froze. So we'll just keep working on what we're doing. I appreciate you coming along for the ride, watching what we're doing. I hope you can get something out of it. I hope you got something out of the if you haven't seen it yet, or if I haven't posted it yet, I came up with a new way to put chains on the tractor that worked extremely well. You'll see that at some point, or you've already seen it. So we just got a lot of things to do, and it's a little slow in the wintertime. Content's a little hard to create because we're just not here working all the time. But the big thing in the spring is we'll kick off and start going with the cold storage buildings, and show you that as we build it out. So again, thanks a lot. Have a great rest of the winter, and maybe we'll catch back up when we do some other projects here before spring gets here. Thanks. Bye.